G'day, g'day. So today we're going to find out why he did it. Why did Eric Blair kill that poor creature? It's something I've been stressing about for years and years. I think he probably stressed about it as well. But so just for those of us who are not as his, who aren't as historyphile as some of us, what happened was in the 20th century at some time, George Orwell, before he was known as that, he was known as a man called Eric Blair. He was living in a country called Burma. Today, that place is called Myanmar. It still has a few challenges at the moment. And essentially his job was he was working as a colonial policeman in Burma. So in his famous book 1984, how he's talking about that bad guy in the book, kind of feels like he was the bad guy here. Somebody had to play the role, I guess. So maybe that's why he was such a good writer, because he knew how to play the good guy and the bad guy. That's something about writing. Okay. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into, reading literature, because the thing is, okay, your teachers have probably told you if you want to improve your skills, read more. The problem is you read things and you say, wow, that's confusing. I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what colonization is. I don't know what, how empires, worked in history. I don't know all these things. Plus, if I'm learning a language and I'm not familiar with these things, it might be a little bit too much. And I know, like I've spoken to people who can barely string a sentence together in English, but you can tell how passionate they are you're about historical subjects. So like they'll talk about these things and be really knowledgeable and understand some very deep ideas. But if you don't have the words, what do you do? So let's have a think. So today we're going to explore why, I wanted to use shooting an elephant as a bit of an expose of how you can use AI to improve your understanding and actually read with you alongside you so you can figure things out faster. So this text, to give you context for what it is, Shooting Elephant was written by George Orwell as a short, a biographical story about his life working as an English policeman while he was in Burma. This is, when was he doing? I think it was the 20s. Let me check. When did Orwell live in Burma? 22 to 27. That's what I was thinking. Okay, served as a policeman during that time period. Thanks, Wikipedia/AI. And what inspired him to write Burmese Days? I like that question and the follow-up. I've got my own theories on what inspired him to write it, and I don't think whatever that says is going to be correct. I'm going to click on it, but I'm not going to go into it right now because that's a full-on topic. That's part of the problem. I reckon it was actually about a lady, but that's beside the point. Oh, there's always a love story involved somewhere. Anyway, let's get back to Shooting an Elephant, shall we? So, as you can see, if the teacher said, okay, read this, figure it out, analyze, and explain it back to someone in an essay, you're like, what the hell? You kind of need to think, what's the wording we need to do? The challenge with this text, because it was written in, I think it was the 1930s. Yeah. When did Orwell Right. No, not 1984. That's what he's famous for. Oh, oi, oi. It's like we know only one thing in the world, and so we all just repeat the same thing over and over again. Um, when did he do it? He did it in 36. I thought he did. Why is that relevant? I'm going to do a follow-up question. So 1936, you say? When was the Spanish Civil War? Ha! Ha! How interesting. How interesting. So you wrote about then. So P.S. Orwell did fight in the Spanish Civil War as well. I believe he was on the communist side because he was a democratic socialist, which means he was fighting with communists against fascists in Spain before World War II. But that's beside the point. He's the good guy. He's the good guy. Don't worry. Don't paint him as a bad guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, we'll talk about that at a different time. Okay, so obviously he wrote this a long time ago. Therefore, it was not quite. It's not the language that we think of today. I mean, you might not know what a subdivisional police officer in Burma might have been, or subdivisional even means. So sometimes you can use an AI to check details like that. So much like I've been researching details about oil, things that I should know and remember off the top of my head because I've done this stuff so many times, you can really just quickly throw it down. Definition. Let's see. Oh, a subdivision, which means the act of process dividing a larger entity into smaller parts or sections. That's pretty useful, right? Not bad. Okay. It's talking about real estate. Except he was a cop. So I'll give you a little bit of this. So, I mean, obviously, okay, I'll give you, how can I explain this? This text is interesting because if you're doing a job like that, imagine you're a young man and you kind of want to, do things correctly. You just want to enforce the law that you're supposed to. You might kind of understand how things are working, but also you're like, but I need to get a job. I need to get paid. I can't just go here every weekend and not work and do what is interesting. And I mean, he was very embarrassed. The reason why Orwell changed his name is because he wrote a book called Down and Out in Paris and London, which talked about how broke he was trying to be a writer in Paris and London. And he didn't want his family to know. So he made up a name instead to not embarrass himself with his silly. Oh, sorry, I just realized my microphone was all the way over there. I am so sorry if the audio was crap until then. Oh boy. Yeah, you just miss details when you're human. Do you ever have that problem where you're human and you miss details? Mate, that is my life in a nutshell. Ooh, how's that? I love this cup. This was a present from a student who I had in 2020 when after they graduated. Oh, I thought it was funny. Ah, the learning never stops. So ultimately, this is asking the question of like, well, what happens when we've got a colonial person there, and not to mention, what about the person who's in the uniform? So what I'll do, I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown of what the story entails, and also before I do that, how about even better? How about we ask our good friend to summarize the story in simple English? Okay. Story of Burmese days. Not wrong story. Shooting an elephant in simple English. Modern English. Okay, and please don't yell at me. I didn't put a capital letter. All right. Okay, what do you reckon? Yeah. So, Shooting an Elephant is a story by Mr. Orwell about his time as a British police officer in colonial Burma. Great. So, one day, an elephant escapes from its chains and goes wild, causing damage and even killing a man. There's something that happens, an elephant does this thing called must. And so, because Orwell's the cop, people who are now just living out their daily lives, who are normally like, yeah, look, if I just like spill this thing in this one place and it happens to fall on the cop, we got him. You know, people who are usually they might not have the nicest feelings towards this policeman. They go, bro, you're the guy in the uniform. You're wearing the uniform. Fix this. We don't know what to do. You wearing a uniform. Fix it. We need it fixed now. You know, uniform. Fix. So this is his job now. So essentially, he's like, great. They say, hey, solve this problem. He doesn't know what to do, so he basically picks up a very very it wasn't that large a gun actually. I think he had the wrong round. What gun did he use? I forgot. Where is it? See, here he goes through stuff like blah blah blah. Convicts scarred buttocks, men have been flogged with bamboos. Like it's such a good quote here. So, as for the job I was doing, I hated it more bitterly than I can perhaps make clear. How's that for a colonial policeman? Because have you ever thought the person doing the job might not want to do that very much? You know, so in a job like that, you see the dirty work of empire at close quarters. Because, I mean, that's if you think about, say, soldiers who go to different countries, a lot of the times they don't necessarily know why they're fighting. They're there to do a job, and then eventually they go, oh, it was all about money and empire and all this other stuff, and I didn't even know. You know, so that's kind of the scary bit. So at this point, he knows that the British Empire is diminishing. So because you have to remember, after World War One, the British Empire was no longer the the empire where the sun never sets. It dawned on them that, oh, we're not the boss of the world anymore. And it started to go, oh, crap. So that things were changing. And he says, okay, even the British Empire was aware that it was going to shrink. And they go, oh, how's it going to go? They don't know what's going to happen. You know, so problem is he's still the guy in uniform at this point. So that's what he picked up. Oh, geez, he had a 44. Oh, okay. It's a big round, but it's definitely not an elephant round. So that's let me show you. Okay. How big is a 44 bullet caliber bullet compared to larger rounds? Okay, show images. Jeez, this has taken a whole thing. I got to see the pictures. Oh, how's that? So 44 Magnum is this one there on the right. So it's pretty solid. He's the 357 is bigger, we know. What a distraction this one's been. I think the 44 is, no, I don't know. It's somewhere on this thing. It's one of these. As you can see, it's from memory, it is, what's 52? That looks kind of the right size. No. This is probably too much of a side note. I might not be able to focus too much on this because unfortunately my sizes of bullets knowledge isn't the highest. So I'll hop out of my wheelhouse. But the point is, he shot it with the wrong bullet, one that was too small. Why'd I even bother researching that? Guys, he literally says the Winchester, which was much too small to kill an elephant, which, look, if you've ever heard of people who do hunting, they're concerned about this thing called ethical hunting, which means the correct bullet to correctly, dispatch the animal without causing excess pain and harm. So this is him knowing he's doing the wrong thing, but he's the representative of the empire. So it's that question of just got to get the job done, whatever situation you're in. It's like, all right, well, it's my job now. But also, there's this question of like, well, is he doing the wrong thing there because he's doing that? So by him admitting it, by him putting this out there, it's almost like he kind of alleviates the things a little bit, because someone could just do the wrong thing and never ever have to tell anyone to do it. So, own up to something they did that was not very okay. So there's something to be said about that factor. Okay. Let's see. All right. So the challenge here with the elephant is it's gone on I told you guys, a must. So a must is where the elephant's trying to just kind of they get angry. They get angry. And I mean, I've been to a festival where there was a bunch of elephants, and I never knew what trouble I was in, because I think I wasn't too across the idea how bad a must can be. So essentially, the person who was meant to look after him, I think he got killed. Let's have a look. What is it? Yep. Broken its change and escaped. Smahoot. The only person who could manage it was instead set. He went after it, but he took the wrong direction. Now he basically just he went the wrong way and he lost it. So like, oh damn it! I turned to the right when it went left. And so the elephant's gone nuts. It's like just beating everything up, because I mean it's a huge animal. It's because I'm from Africa. That's my memory of large animals. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's when you're in the places you're scared of the large animals because you're aware of it. But I think people who don't have big animals and have that risk, they don't think about it. It's like, Australians don't care about anything but snakes and spiders. They're like, oh yep, gotta watch them snakes and spiders, eh? Ugh. I suppose they would tear us limb from limb if they could. If it was like that, what's that movie where they fought the aliens? Such a good movie. I've got to recommend this movie. It was a movie about killing bug aliens in space. Starship Troopers. It's like, how did I forget that detail? Right, let's have I want pictures. Is that it? Yes, that's it. 1997. Oh, the good old days. So Starship Troopers came out in 1997, and it's still a classic. Oh, this was great. This was I watched this when I was just starting high school. I just noticed there was an R rating. Okay. When you're young, you can be naughty with some of the things that you do, right? Because you don't know what you're getting into when you're watching something. I mean, we were seeing pretty bad aliens out there. Okay, so anyway, I forgot my point. About this one. But the elephant's gone off. It's gone off. It's been angry, which is pretty rough. So what happens is our good friend Mr. Orwell, he's comes after it. He's taken a rifle that he shouldn't have, and he's going through. Now, as he's going through, what happens is he's kind of getting followed by a massive crowd. So, for example, like the thing that I wanted to point out here is, things that you might get stuck on is, what the hell is a British Raj? because it's got a here. Let me find it. British Raj. Okay. When you find a term like that, you go, "What is that?" Like as you come across it, very quickly, you jump out and you go, "British Raj definition," because you want it in simple English just to explain what the hell it means. Okay. So British Raj was the period of direct British rule over the Indian subcontinent from 1858 until the independence and partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. Wait a minute. They're in control of Burma. Why is it calling Burma the British Raj? We need to look at a map. Okay. British Raj map and breakup map. Let's check it out. No, how it got broken up? Yes. 1920. Let's check it out. Bro, make it bigger. I can't read this. It's too small. I need it to be in legible English, please. Mate, you're killing me. I'm trying to make points. Okay, worldhistory.org. We've got to find this detail out. Okay, I want now the British Raj. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Yeah, but no. 1930. 1930. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's check it out. I think this is the big one. Yes, this is what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. I hope this is useful. Okay. 1930. Oh. Didn't we have problems in there recently? Okay. So, global problems, Very mountainous there. How interesting. Okay, I'm going to minus a bit. Let's have a look. So, extent of British India. Look at the red line all around everything. There's a little section here, red line. Goa was owned by Portugal. Thanks, Portugal. What else? Well, they had demand and okay, so they had a few places, didn't they? It's almost like everyone's just fighting over stuff. Okay. Under direct British rule was red. And principal state dependencies. Okay. So you can see this is happening before World War II. It's also most of the soldiers, I think, who fought for England during World War II were sent from this region. So let's have a look. What's to the right of India? So you've got, Ceylon. I think that's a place called Sri Lanka. It is. I'm being facetious, but they always gave a different name for something. All right. So what's this? Siam. What country is Siam? Look, if you ever go on a good holiday, Thailand's pretty good. Thailand's a great holiday destination. I must say. Good place. How's that? Britain was not in control of Thailand. But there's this place west of Thailand called Lower Burma. The partition of the region. And then, as you know, they're like, let's partition it. Let's split up the people who live in certain places and who believe different things in different parts and just go, all right, this is like this. Because I think, isn't Bangladesh around here in the east there? And then I think Pakistan is up here in the northwest. I think that's saying something. Okay. Well, that's a fun little detail. And a side note and a half. Sorry if I bored you with the British Raj. So, look, I kind of go off on tangents and topics like that because I find details quite interesting, and it's always fun to learn things like that. And quite frankly, that's how you learn stuff. If you want to actually figure things out, if you don't care about a topic, if you don't care to learn little details like that, you're going to find it much harder to figure things out. I'll say, all right, British Raj. And now, let's, colonial police. Because that's almost like militaristic, isn't it? Let's see what the colonial police did. I'm going to use this one because I like that page. Okay. What was the colonial police during force during the British Raj? I want to learn details. Yeah. Oh, they got pictures. It gets better. Not only pictures, they've got different hats depending on their jobs. This is fantastic. So you start out as a constable. So, oh, okay. Oh, maybe it's just the different regions. Okay, no, you just got constables and head constables. Okay, they just have two jobs. Two jobs with very different hats. It's all about the hats. All right. So, wait, what? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, okay. The colonial police force during British Raj was primarily known as the Indian Imperial Police Force, established under the Government of India Act 1858. So, essentially, it's like the government police. But why it's like a foreign police force. So the Indian Imperial Police was modeled more on the Irish constables. Why the Irish? Have you ever thought of why Ireland has an interesting commentary on colonization? Oh, bugger, I just looked at my video. I think my phone is too hot again. Sorry, it does this. It gets too hot and then I've got to put on the aircon. My apologies. I'll put it on and hopefully it works. Okay. Man, that's irritating. Methinks I might have to get another camera that doesn't overheat like that. Or get a cooling system. That's because I was looking online and I got a toy the other day. I got this thing called... Because look, even if you're working hard, you also need to give yourself a break. So I got this thing called the Game Sir, and it's got I have this thing called the Game Sir FX. Game Sir, I think it's like X, yeah. Show the FX. I think it's called the FX. I can't remember. Oh, yeah. I forgot what it was called. Anyway. But anyway, they've got a thing that can cool your phone. I might buy that specifically so that I can cool my phone, so you don't have to see that thing come up. Okay. All right. Back to the story. Because we got up to, he's got walking along. Now the challenge was he ended up getting, followed by a whole bunch of people. Now let's get a picture of what empire looks like. You've got the leader in one uniform and then followed by a whole bunch of people. And we always ask the question, like, how did that, person get all these people to follow them? So, that Alexander character, why was everyone following? Usually they were working with the locals, and then the locals would then get co-opted into working for them after they got defeated, yada, yada. So that's kind of how it goes, but also... he's got this really good bit where he describes them following it. Where is it? The people following him. I gotta find it. Wait. By this time, I had a full... I'm trying to remember the quote because it's the good one. And I read it before, but I've lost it now. I came back a few minutes later. No, but at the moment... there we go. Got it. Okay. So he basically... A crowd had followed him. An immense crowd 2,000 people following him, walking up to kill a single elephant. Well, to kill a single elephant, or is the crowd following him to see what he's going to do? Are they leading him, or is he leading the crowd? There is a question for leadership in a nutshell. Whether it's like an authoritarian type of leadership, or a democratic one. Who's the boss of who? Okay. So so they're watching me as if they would watch a conjurer about to. What the hell is a conjurer? I don't know what a conjurer is. I need to find out. I'm lying. I know what it is. I'm just going to use this page. Okay. New search. Okay. What is a conjurer? Show pictures. I want to show you guys pictures. Pictures are fun. Pictures help us remember things. Therefore, we should always use pictures. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, so we got some conjurers. Okay, what's he doing? He's a conjurer. It's basically a magician who conjures something and creates something. Let's go back one and here. Mate, yeah, okay. A conjurer is a person who performs magic tricks or illusions to entertain an audience. So that's so simply he's just saying he literally built up a crowd, and they go, oh, come on, bro, show us a trick. Show us a trick. So he completely understands what's going on. So he's like, oh, he's a bit racist though. He looked at the sea of yellow faces. So they were a bit racist in the past. Lucky we're not racist today, which is good, right? We've ended all racism thanks to the future. Okay. Here's the kicker. He says he realized that should have to shoot the elephant, whether he wants to or not. Because he's got the magic rifle. He's the guy in the uniform. He's the guy with the gun. He's the one who's got to do the job. It's the job expected of him. So he's got 2,000 wills forcing him to do it, right? Or are they? At which point does the individual get to say, no, I'm not going to let that will of force make me do something? Isn't that a very important thing that we should all be thinking about? It's like, what is the power of one? Did I mention I'm from South Africa? Let me show you another movie. Oh, can't be any good. It was an African, Australian, French, German, American drama. I forgot what it was about. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why I watched that, because I started primary school in that year, in 1992. So no wonder I watched it when I was a kid. Okay, that's a good film. Good, bloody good film. And also, I mean, it's asking that question, like, how much power does an individual have? Okay. England and okay, good. All right, so let's forget that one. I don't want to explain all those details. Let's not talk colonialism or colonization. We don't need to know, or do we? Let's learn stuff. Okay. So as you can see, he's feeling their wills pressed against him. So it's like saying, "Oh, I've got to do my job." Look at how he describes himself. Here, I'm going to make it bigger so that you can see it, so it's easier for you guys to read. Okay, here was I, the white man with his gun. I'm not sure if that's big enough for you guys either. Let me have it bigger. And now I've lost it. There we go. Here was I, The white man with his gun standing in front of the unarmed native crowd, seemingly the leading actor of the piece, but in reality, I was only an absurd puppet pushed to and fro by the will of those faces behind. I won't say it again because I don't know. It might just be my own context and personal context, but I've got this really like an icky feeling when I think of racism. It might be because I started school as racism ended in my country. So now there's no more racism in my country. It's perfect. My home country. I don't live there anymore because it's too dangerous, but at least there's no more racism. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, okay. So it's so beautifully said here because he's recognizing that that's what happens. You know, we look at the tyrants and say, oh, you know, they're the 1%, they're the bad guys, they're doing this to us. When actually, you know, we're all complicit. You know, every single individual is complicit in everything. Okay. Oh, what's this Sahib? That sounds racist. Okay. I'm gonna look that one up because I need to know what this one is. I hope it's not too racist. Define Sahib. I hope you guys are learning along with me, and I hope you also seeing how easy it is to use AI to actually learn and not get it to write your essays for you, because that's how you lose out and never learn anything. So please do follow this protocol. So Sahib, as a term of respect or address to meaning sir or master, it originated from the Arabic word Sahib. Why are we talking Arabic? He's in Asia. It's a word passed into many South Asian languages, Urdu and Hindi. That's right. I forgot. I learned this before. I knew this. I knew this detail. I forgot. Hence, why our technology helps us not to forget things like that. Okay. So, anyone the term denote respect to someone considered higher or lower stat. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Q. Yeah. I think they used to use it as a slur though as well. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so I think that they actually used to use that extensive British Indian Army, Native Indian soldiers, blah, blah, rank or name. Like the same. I'm trying to remember because there was some term that was like where they used to, it's like use it to pick. I won't talk about the Mughal period, but that's a whole different historical period. Okay. It's so good when we get actual, people who care to write about this stuff, people who care to appreciate the context of how things are happening so that we can learn and, I don't know, improve how we move into the future. So, yeah, look, I do judge Orwell for shooting the elephant. I do. But on the other hand, because he shared these details with us, I'm also kind of on board with, it's like, all right, well, bro, none of us are perfect, but let's try and be the best versions of ourselves as we can. So, yada yada. So you know what I mean? Like, he's literally just talking about going up and then thinking about shooting an elephant, and he's going into a whole political spiel about the English Empire and how all empires are in a bit of a messy state, which means we could look at this today and say, what about the empires today? Who's at work now, and how are they going to make that work? So there's so much you can get from looking at historical pictures like this. I mean, I guess that's how we can use AI to simplify English literature. Hopefully, you guys are having as much fun as I am, because I really love going through things like this. So I've read this story. I use it kind of on repeat with students. So I was thinking today, I was like, oh, what's a good, just because I was thinking, what's a good example to use for the topic I wanted to talk about? And this it's up there. It's one of my it helps me really understand how, like what colonization is. So I hope that it, gives you guys just a picture in. Okay. Yeah. Spin left, impress the natives, yada yada. Okay. Okay, I had got to shoot the elephant. I'd committed. What's it? Okay, so I'd got to shoot the elephant. Oh yeah. So it's basically like it's like I'm the one who gets to do this. So he's got 2,000 people behind him, and he's the guy in the uniform. He's the guy with the rifle. He's the one who has to do the job. He's recognizing his place on the chessboard, which is just like it's so beautifully written. Like I got to say, like he was a bloody clever man, and I mean, look, I would say there are better technical writers of when I compare him to someone like what's his name, the one who said that he sucked, that other guy, Brave New World dude. You know the Brave New World guy, Aldous Huxley. Oh yeah, the Tripper. Um, let's not talk about Aldous Huxley's drug problem, but let's just say his writing was technically better. He even knew it, and he said so when he was comparing his writing to Orwell. When I've compared to the two, I'm like, yeah, look, you're kind of right. If I were marking the two and saying, all right, you get more points for this or that, sure. But Orwell wins because he hits you in the field feels a lot harder. It's that thing that just rips off the mask of the human experience. That goes, what's our ugliest side? What is it? How ugly is that? Because that's kind of the scary thing that we kind of go, oh, all right. It's like we need to know what to look out for. Okay, commit myself to yada yada. Okay. A few good quotes out of this. He'd committed himself to doing it when he said for the rifle. So Sahib has got to act like a Sahib. He has got to appear resolute, to know his own mind, and do definite things. That is so true. I mean, I even think about in my own teaching, like a good writer generally will use some hedging and diminish the it's like how much it's you sound less sure by using more evidence. So like you can't. So hedging's a whole thing. I'll go into that on a different day. But yeah, you've got to be really 100% sure on whatever you're explaining. And I mean, sometimes the problem is you might not know that you're doing 100% the right thing, but if you do a half and half, that could be worse than not doing the 100% thing. It's like like on motorcycling. I often tell people how important it is to keep your head up when you're riding. You have to, you look forward, you're looking towards the horizon, because even if you can feel the bike wants to fall over, the likelihood that you're going to catch it and not actually drop it is much higher if you keep your head up than if you look down and try to just catch your hands and because then you're really committing to the fall. So that's one of the most fundamental principles for motorcycling, and I would say that's got a crossover to learning English. It's got a crossover to learning literature. It's got a crossover in everything. Stick to it. Hold your line. Okay. So, he's kind of coming down to the story. I'm sorry if I'm ruining the whole story for you, but he's come there with his gun. He's got 2,000 people following him, which can you see what I mean? Like, we say, oh, how evil was Genghis Khan? He had this army following him, yada yada. But the poor guy, it started with his wife getting stolen. Yes, he's now, I think, part of the DNA of most of the world. But that's how his story started. His wife got stolen, and he was like, "Oh, bro, don't steal my wife." And he went and stole his wife back, and I think he killed him and stuff. Anyway, it's complicated. But you've then got to ask the question. It's like, well, if you got a bunch of people following you, you kind of have to go, all right, well, it's my job now. Let's just do it. I've got to get it right. Do what the crowd's telling me to do. So I think the really special people are the ones who can recognize when they're in that state and go, I'm going to do what holds to what my deepest like principles, even though I'm in that state. Because I mean, that's I was talking about the whole point about the crucible, and you know, the John Proctor, like, yeah, he does some rough stuff, but I mean, his redeeming feature is he says, I have to stick to my principles. I have to hold my values. So that's coming from that conservative perspective, which is, there is something to that. But also sometimes progressiveness is good because just like, can you imagine if where I was living, if the same thing just stayed how it was forever? Now it's interesting the area that I'm talking about because Gandhi actually was in the town where I'm from, and I'm very proud of that fact because he he got in trouble. He got thrown off a train. So for people who don't know, he was traveling, I think, on a fake like a fake papers to go into the white section of the train. And so he gets booted off the train because he got caught. And he kind of came back to me and goes, whoa, 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 whoa. In my country, I'm like the top shelf guy. Like, we got different levels. I'm the top shelf guy. How are you coming off telling me I'm not top shelf here? And so he essentially, I think, did some legalizing. I can't remember if he's the reason at that time for, because that was I think if you were Indian in South Africa, I think they counted in the white population during apartheid. But like, what a detail, right? What a detail. Just because he got kicked off a train because he was basically, he was like, hey, bro, you can't treat other people badly. And he goes, no, this is wrong. And then even in a system that was already meh, he made such a big, you know, hubbub in that country. Like, yeah, he got shot, etc. But no, we got to go somehow. I guess, I don't know, I'm definitely not aiming that way. I reckon, yeah, look, my name translates as many years, and I think I'd like to get a lot of those. Anyway, beside the point, let's talk about this story. Okay, crowd would laugh at me. No, no, no. Okay, so even this famous author that everyone's like, wow, 1984 is so amazing. 1984. Even he was scared of being laughed at. He was scared of using his own name because he didn't want his mum and I don't know his mum, but anyway, his whole family to see. It's like, ha ha, you had no money when you're in France and you're in England. You had no money. Ha ha. Even he was scared of that. Wow, it's almost like every one of the people you ever read are human. Huh. And if you want to write well, dip into that humanity. Okay. And my whole life, every white man's life in the East was one long struggle not to be laughed at. What a way to put it. I love this. As far as a quote, if I were to use something that's just, oh, lol. Because that is, I gotta say, I mean, that is empire in a nutshell. Because look, if you lose a fight, let's take it to like even UFCing. Like, yeah, look, fighters can be really, really great, amazing, yada yada. But how embarrassing to lose a fight, because one of my favorite fighters is Dukusan Duplessis, the South African. And it was very traumatic to see him lose that fight when I forget the guy who won, but yeah, it's some other fighter. But just think, it's like first you're the hammer, then you're the nail. But even there, it's like you're almost like you're fighting for the crowd, but then it's like They're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna laugh at me, even if I don't give a good show. And it's like there's that process, that part of our humanity that's still there. Sorry for Drickus to. Oh, I feel bad for saying there's laughter because I got more respect for him in his loss. Like as my thought was that he's obviously just had to level up his jiu-jitsu, but as far as my respect for him as a fighter, I'm like he bangs every time, he goes for it, and that is I guess what we need people to be like. Okay, but ultimately, look, Orwell, he didn't want to shoot the elephant. Oh, and this is so this is the sad part of the story. So look, don't watch anymore if you don't want the sad part of the story, because it's no longer on must. It's now just like because think of an elephant. I mean, you've probably only seen them at the zoo. They're just sitting and they're going, beating the grass around the knees. Like they are. I mean, they're really big, intelligent, beautiful creatures. Like it's like you're in awe when you see it. And I mean, I'm really thankful that I got to see these things in the wild. Like I don't even have people always ask me like, oh, do you miss South Africa? Because I've got a very confused what's the word, my identity, because I grew up in a very Afrikaner town in South Africa, so I wasn't in Pietermaritzburg for most of my childhood. It's like that was the culture that I understood around me, but also we had another it's anyway, it was the Africans on the one side and then the Afrikaners on the other side. So that was the stuff I knew. We didn't live in a place where there were Greeks around us. So I really didn't know my own identity till I was a bit older. But I forgot my point. Anyway, that's right. Oof. So I just remember, I remember when I saw a rhino. That's still like one of my favorite memories as a kid was seeing this just majestic big fat thing. It was the size of our car, and just waddling past our Mercedes, and we were coming out of like the toilet block in this game park. Anyway, me and the whole family you just go. We hide behind the toilet block because obviously people have taught us be afraid of giant animals. They're dangerous. They can go off and they say if you scare a rhino, it can go off and run down and kill you. But my tiny little yaya, so my grandma, she's walking out of the toilet very slowly approaching it. I'm thinking she was always the most soft and grandmotherly character. Just walking up to it going, hello. And to this day, I don't remember how close she got to it, but I think she might. Yeah, I'm trying to remember whether if she actually like touched it. I don't know because it's because it's so long ago. I was just in terror, but I think it just meandered away. That's right. No, I don't think she touched it. I think it boop, 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 like it just walked off. It's man. So all right, look, I'll pay it. Africa and South Africa is still a wonderful place, and I would love to go to just see the natural parts of it because like it's just you don't you're in awe when you see such a big and vast place. It's yes, I learned how to toi before I could do any Greek dancing, but I'm kind of glad for that, even though I don't know where I belong. I remember I was telling some people from Zimbabwe that I was from South Africa, and they go, "Yeah, but bro, where you really from?" I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I came to Australia, and I'm one of these now because I collected the accent when I was a teenager. All right, so that was a bit of a side note for a bit me focus. So my apologies for jumping off track again. But anyway, so obviously Orwell's here. He doesn't want to shoot the elephant. So he's now saying he'd never shot an elephant and never wanted to shoot. I mean, how's that? Seems worse to kill a large animal That is such a truth. Like, think about fishing versus hunting and how differently people see it. So and then if he does shoot it, the bro who's looking after it is going to lose a lot of money. Because that's that question. Like, well, nowadays we don't have animals that like, oh yeah, that's the work animal. We don't really use them. We're more machinery now because of the Industrial Revolution. So now it's asking the question, like, it's about the money. Alive, at least 100 pounds, dead. Okay, sell his tusks, so 5 pounds. Wow, that's sad. I mean, diminishing something so beautiful, to monetary things, but then you're like, all right, let's go to the supermarket and get our food, right? So many people don't even think about, it's like what process had to happen in order to get that plastic bag that has the part of the animal in it, which I don't know. So I mean, that's why in my mind it makes people who are hunters a little bit more, it's like ethical for that reason, because it's like they're the only ones who can decide, like, well, I did the right thing or I didn't. But then also that they could be the worst people, and then again, the people bringing the meat could be the best people and the most kind people. I mean, they might have killed in a certain way, like even in religious ways, to make sure that it isn't harmed. It's complicated. It's complicated. Anyway, main thing, I'm sad about this elephant that died in the 1920s. We cool with that? Oh, man. And like, people wonder why some people are so weird, because they stress out about 1920s elephants. Okay. So how's this? He had to act quickly, because remember what he's told you. He's giving you the context. He's the bro that has to do the job. Uh-oh. He's in the front. He's got the rifle. He looks behind. He's like, yeah, those experienced looking Burmans look like they were there. And I asked how the elephant had been behaving. So he's looking for his out, right? He's being like, do I have to do it? Come on, guys. Come on. Do I have to shoot it? Do I, do I have to be... Sorry, I don't like the tone of that, because I feel like I'm being too playful, and I'm like, this is like the sad part of the story. Okay. Anyway, they all said the same thing. He took no notice of you if you left him alone, but he might charge if you went too close to him. So it's like, that's that question of like, well, we never know how dangerous animals are. So now he's like, crap, gotta shoot it. I got my job, gotta shoot it. Okay, so we have to go to 25 yards. Because I'm not from his country, I don't know how far that is, but I assume it's close to 25 meters. Let's find out. How far is 25 yards to meters? We've got to know the details, guys. We really do. Close. Very close. It's almost 25 meters. 22-ish. All right. And that's a pretty close shot as well. I mean, that's people shoot that in with bows. So if you charge, you can shoot. If he took notice of me, okay. So now he's kind of trying to work out. It's like, can I get away with not shooting him? Uh-oh. But he also knew that he was going to do it anyway. It was a crap shot. Uh-oh. So if the elephant charged and he missed, because that means that he's understanding that he's dead if he doesn't shoot it. So now he's like, well, he's one person. If he doesn't do this job, he's in a really crappy spot. Okay. Now he's looking at the people behind him, because he is the leader of the empire. Yeah, like he's the face of the empire. Okay. So for that, I'll give you that quote because this is a good one. But at that moment, with the crowd watching me, I was not afraid in the ordinary sense, as I would have been if I had been alone. A white man mustn't be frightened in front of natives. Oh, that's so racist. And so in general, he isn't frightened. Think about it. This is someone speaking in a very different context to our own. because this is the point when this idea is like, oh yes, must be the powerful white man, whereas now it's like that's the bad guy in the story. Everyone is, like it's it's shifted. Time changes, context changes, yada yada. So the thought in his mind was that if anything went wrong, those 2,000 Burmans would see me pursued, caught, trampled on, and reduced to a grinning corpse like that Indian up on the hill. And if that happened, it was quite probable that some of them would laugh, which is pretty true. How's that? That would never do. To not be laughed at. How's that? So one alternative, they loads up. Oh man, I don't even want to read it. This is so upsetting. Okay. Didn't know that in shooting elephant, one would shoot to cut an imaginary bar running from ear to heel to ear hole. Therefore, as the elephant was sideways on, to have aimed straight at his ear hole, actually, I aimed several inches in front of this, thinking the brain would be further forward. He's trying to shoot him in the head, so he's trying to do an ethical kill. But, the poor thing. I'm not going to read it out loud. Sorry. It's, oh boy. Anyway, but the point is, I think he had to take a follow-up shot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Why do I keep reading this? Like, why do I do this over and over again when I know, like, every time I hate this part? At least I'm just reading it. Anyway, it's and now they're all excited, the people behind him. Because now he's kind of like he's hurt. He's just laying there. So he basically, emptied the whole clip. Oh man, this is the I feel like that's why hunters have this concern for an ethical shot, because you don't want this. This is something, this is the pain that you don't want to see. You don't want to see an animal like that, because at the end of the day, it's our food, but it's like, enjoy its life, and then it's like then we're just playing that role in the food chain. Oh, anyway, this is killing me. Oh, okay. Anyway. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so he left. Oh man. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So afterwards, the discussion about the owner was really upset, obviously. Okay. Says legally, essentially, Orwa had done the right thing, because they had to kill it, because let's say Harambe, had to get shot, apparently, got to play the human role. None of the Europeans, among the older guys, they're saying, yeah, it was the right thing. The young guy said, that sucked. But that was a bit racist. Oh, that sucks. Okay, that's a racist term for an Indian person. Okay. So put me yada yada. And then, okay. I often wondered whether any of the others grasped that I'd done it solely to avoid looking a fool. Whoa. So, doesn't that explain Empire in a nutshell? Now I'm going to ask, why did he join the Spanish Civil War? Empire in a nutshell, perhaps. So let's have a think about this one. Yeah, so, man, I'm sorry. I got a little bit sidetracked with this thing, and now I've got a bit of a challenge. I have to run to the lavatory, but I don't want to stop the live. So, how about, do you want to just quickly read off the final part, and I'm going to disappear for a moment, and I shall return and then explain how you can use AI to help you with this. Cool. I'll be back. My apologies for my tiny, tiny bladder. I have returned. So, with that in mind, let's have a think about it. Stu, what's going on? Okay, how's that? Okay, so what sort of questions could we ask an AI? So list 5 important words from Shooting Elephant and give simple definitions. So an example output: imperialism. When one country controls another, conscience, your inner sense of right and wrong, pressure, feeling forced to do something, symbol, an object that represents an idea, and regret, a sadness about a bad decision. Let's not talk about that story. Oi. So as you can see, this sort of thing is, yeah, let's have a think about how we can actually, because I want to give you guys some prompts you could use, but I don't want to put it on screen, or do I? All right, let me find my AI. Artisan. I'll make it the same size so that it looks the same-ish. Okay, Artisan. All right, my friend. Right. All right, yeah. Very good, very good. Okay, so what I'll do, okay. Let's see. So I'll see what it come up with. Let's deshare and reshare. So remove. No, deshare. Sorry, I'm going to deshare it. Okay. And then share screen. I want my GPT. What up, GPT? All right, so let's see. Let me go to, because I want to go. It's just ways to simplify. Yeah, so let's have a look. See, where is it? I want to have a. Yeah, okay. All right, let's go. Yeah, here I've got some. Okay, I got a few prompts. Let's get these prompts. Yeah. Add to stage. Okay, I make bigger. How do I make it bigger? I'm not sure. Magnifier. Is that? Yeah. Okay. Don't know how that works. Okay. So basically, let's have a look. See. Explain this sentence in simple English for an ESL student. It was perfectly clear to me what I ought to do, but I was only an absurd puppet pushed to and fro by the will of those faces behind. I'm not going to say it again. I knew what was right, but I felt forced to act because the crowd was watching me. Now, key detail, be aware that when you do simplify things like that, and especially with AIs, what it can do is it can actually take away the key meaning, because that specific racist point tells you so much about the context, purpose, and audience. which is going to help you understand it more deeply. So you've got to be careful that when you're simplifying information, you're not losing too much important detail. How are we doing? Oh, bugger. Okay. And then, let's see, yada yada. Yes, good. Okay, list 5 important words from shooting elephant and give simple definitions. I feel like that's the best way to go about it. Using those, that's a better prompt to use. And then obviously, don't over rely on it, because you don't want to copy the AI summaries for your essays, because it's going to mess up what your meaning is. You lose your voice. So you use it to check comprehension before forming your own interpretation, your own understanding. And also, you still need to read it, even though you might get stuck. You use it to help you read it. Okay, practical prompts. So, first and foremost, summarize each paragraph of Shooting Elephant in simple English. Explain what the elephant represents in the story. I feel like that's a good prompt, because you can read that and then you can try and figure out, and you might actually disagree with it, which is the best thing that you want to do. If you want to learn well, you definitely want to disagree with information. And then I think give 3 emotions Orwell feels and why, because it's little things. And then give 5 quiz questions about the story at a B2 level. So that's intermediate level. So use those prompts, because that's going to help a little bit to get your head around stuff. Okay, so hopefully this was useful. Unfortunately, I've got a physical teaching class in a few minutes. Actually, it's not unfortunate. I'm actually really happy about it. I really like teaching. But because I've got a physical class, I couldn't do the full 2 hours today. I actually didn't expect to do a live today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another live, which I actually plan to do the live tomorrow. I wasn't going to do one today. So yeah, if you come back, and when did I put it on my calendar? That'll tell me what time it's going to be. I'll tell you in a moment. It is going to be at exactly 3 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, 3 p.m. tomorrow, there'll be another live. I forgot the topic that I was going to do, but I'm going to do another one where I use, say, a bit of lit to give it as an example. I mean, I don't know, I can borrow Orwell again, or I might use something else. Depends how I feel. Or even if someone puts a question of what they prefer to see. And then I'll go that way, and we'll see what we can put up with it. Sounds good? Okay, so hopefully that was useful, and I shall speak to you guys tomorrow. And I just realized I stuffed something up. I'm trying to learn how to do, because it does this I don't know if you guys like the vertical screens or the wide ones, because I know the statistics are saying a lot of people are watching on their phones, and so that's why I'm doing them this way. But my streaming thing says that I can make them fat and also do it this way. So I probably should have figured that out before I got here, just like I should have pulled my microphone over. So I'll try and get that right tomorrow. So my apologies for an imperfect lesson, but hopefully you learned some cool stuff in the process, and have a good night or morning, whichever one it is. And I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow-ish at exactly 3 p.m. Australian Sydney time. Yeah, that's the time it's going to be. Exact. I got to stop being late for lives. Tell me off if I'm late for the live. Please do. All right. Have a good day, night, etc. And I will catch you soon.